your prayers this evening. I'll just take just a couple minutes of time and try to speak just a few words and try to get out of the way. But for what minute of time that I would stand before you, I would just hope and pray that the Lord would bless me with just a couple words to say, and would hope that for what minute at a time that I'm up here, that maybe you would just lend me your ear for just a second. I thought that these brothers have done such a wonderful job this morning, and kind of sat there and was thinking just what a gift Brother Randy has to just take the scriptures and just lay it out awfully plain. And I kind of sit there and talk to Brother Thomas and said, I just could never preach like that, Brother Randy. You just have a special gift. And listen to Brother Chad get up here, and it seemed like they could just lay it out so plain if people would just listen, brother. And it seemed like from one to the other, they were just kind of preaching little things that was on my mind. And we just hope that for what minute at a time that you would just give me just an ear for just a second, Brother Britton. There's nothing special about me, and I don't have any great words about me, Popo, and there's no goodness in me that the Lord didn't place and the Lord didn't bless me with. And but the one thing that I guess why I stand here pleading a little bit, Brother Chad, is that I found something so special to me. I found something so great about 12 years ago, Papa, something that I value so important that I would just want to grab people sometimes and shake them. Brother Chad, that they would just listen to how important it is, just what we have to say this morning. You know, me and Chad, last Monday morning we were heading out to the hospital, and we were just talking about church and just what a wonderful meeting we had last week, and talking about everything, and I guess we were talking about our own flaws that's within us, Joe, and talking about how natural that we look at everything in the world, and just how I guess we just looked at one another and just started saying why is it that we strive so much for the things of the world? And I looked over at him and I said, I found that over 12 years I find myself working so hard and gathering and trying to get everything that I can. I said, but Chad, the only joy that I found in this world is what comes from God and serving Him. I said, well, continually I'm gathering all the natural things, but the only joy that I found in life is that what God has in store for you this morning. Brother, you can gather from this world, and guess what? It's going to rust and it's going to corrode, and the wind is going to come and it's going to knock it down. But there's one thing more important than all of what this world has to offer this morning, brother, and it comes from a man named Jesus who came down and He gave His very life for you this morning. Gave everything He had, Brother Chad. This man, he was willing to hold nothing back. But He said, I'll give you everything that I had. Even my own life I'll lay down for you. Brother, I get excited this morning over the love that I feel down inside of me this morning, Brother Chad, that you know, a long time ago it said that the Syrian army, they began to make war against Israel. And it said, we'll go and we'll camp over here and we'll wait for the army to come by and the king, and we'll kill him right there. But it said that there was a man of God there that heard these things, and he went and whispered to the king. listened to Elisha there. And it said that he saved himself not once nor twice, but several times Elisha saved that king. And it said the Syrian king, he began to get worried, and he began to question everything. And he brought in all his counselors, and he said, who is it that is against us? He said, because every move that I make, someone's telling that king, because he's avoiding every trap that I set for him. He said, and then the counselors begin to speak, and they begin to tell him, there is none against you, king, but except one, a prophet over there named Elisha. He said, everything that you whisper in your bedchamber, that prophet hears. And he's going and he's telling the king. So that king thought he came up with a good plan, and he said, you go and you take a mighty army, and I want you to go get me that prophet. And it said at night they begin to come in, and they begin to camp around that prophet there. And it said his servant came out in the morning, and he looked out and he seen that other king's armies everywhere. It said horses and chariots, and no doubt a great mighty number of men standing there. And he ran back in. He ran back into Elisha, and he said, what are we going to do? And Elisha, it said that he just got down, and he began to pray. He said, I pray thee that you would open up his eyes that he may see. And brother, and that servant, he went back out, and he said, camped around all those mighty men, those God's armies surrounding them. And it said that Elisha just stayed down on his knees again. And he said, I pray thee, Lord. He said to smite them with blindness. And just like that, the Lord smote them right there. And brother, he said, this is not the city, nor I am the man. And he led them over, brother, right unto his king. Brother, about 12 years ago, thank God I got myself in a little bit of trouble. And I began to pray a little bit, and I began to ask for a little sight, brother. These brothers did awfully well, and much like Brother Chad, I guess about 12 years ago, I got myself in a little trouble, and I needed something, Brother Marlowe, and been going to a little barber shop and feeling a little bit of the Lord's Spirit, and I even began to come back to the church. And Brother Chad, how many times is it that we go out to the church house? And brother, and the preachers begin to preach, and the Spirit begins to move, and brother, and we feel it all over us. And brother, how many times do we sit right here in the stand and watch a brother get blessed, and I look out and I see men and women feeling that Spirit, and I know that they feel it because I see the tears falling. But yet sometimes that next weekend I don't see them here back in the stands, and I begin to wonder how many times, Mama, did I sit back and feel that Spirit and feel something move all over me, Brother Chad, and know better to do good, but yet I fought it and fought it. I got news for you this morning. Have you ever laid your head down on your pillow and felt a voice come down inside of you calling? that. Have you ever sat back in the stand and, brethren, like that mighty wind come rushing through and it just cuts your heart in two? Brethren, and those words are so sweet when I hear them. But sometimes when I would lay my head down, Brother Britton, I know that you've been away. Do you ever get hungry when you're away from home? Because I know I do. I know that I need the Spirit of the Lord every morning. And guess what? I watch so many of them go through and feel that touch, brother, and feel that Spirit, because I see all the tears. I got news. There is a better way this morning. And the debt, your debt is already paid this morning. The way's already made. God couldn't set it up any easier, but how that we fight them and how that we think we have the answers this morning. I got news, you don't have the answers this morning, but I know one that does, and He gives them freely this morning. You don't even have to beg, you don't have to plead. All you got to do is ask this morning, and He's willing to give them. But it's up to you this morning if you're going to choose that better way. The only thing that I never questioned in life, Brother Chad, was coming to the Lord the right thing. Because that's the only thing that gets me through this life here. No more. I'm hungry this morning, Brother Chad. I'm hungry to let the lost know this morning that there is a better way, that it's already set up. I'm hungry to let them know that this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. That God is like unto that man that just went on a journey and said He come unto a field and there was a buried treasure. Brother, and I happened to be on a journey one day and I found that treasure. And it was so great I was willing to give everything that I had to get it. You know, I read a story a little while back, and some of you have heard it, but it was kind of on my mind. It was about a young man that said that, a young high school boy, it said that he tried out for his football team and he made it, and it said that first year that his dad just encouraged him and told him, son, you're going to be the best that there ever was. You're going to be so great. And it said that whole year that father went, and he sat right there on the bleachers, but every weekend, every game, that boy never got put in, Brother Thomas. And it said that next year he was still on the team, and still the same things happened. In the following year, the same thing. And it said at one point he began to get discouraged a little bit and began to question if he should stay on the team or not. He was never getting to play. And his daddy just looked at him and said, son, if you don't want to play, you don't have to. But if you want to, you stay on that team. You're going to be the best player ever played. And that boy just stayed on that team. And even here come his senior year, and he never did quite get in again. And 4 years never did, and that boy decided to go off to college. And at college he thought, well, I'll go ahead and I'll try out for our school's football team. And that boy, he made it, and made it as a walk-on. And it said just like high school, it was the same thing. But there was another constant, and his dad was always sitting out there cheering him on, telling him, son, you're going to be the best that there ever was. And year after year went by, Brother Marlowe, and the same results happened. And here was the senior year of college, and said right before playoffs that his dad began to get awfully sick, and even passed away right before that playoff game. And the coach looked at him and he knew he never played, so he said, son, you just go and you take as much time as you want. And that boy left school and he went off to that funeral, and the game, it was time to play in the first half. That team was losing and they were down quite a bit, and it said at halftime that boy come walking in the doors and he just suited up and just kind of took his place, and they all come running out after halftime to finish it out. But it said that boy kept going to the coach. He walked up to him and he said, "Coach, it's time, you need to put me in to play." And that coach said, "Here it is in the playoffs. This boy hasn't played in the 4 years he's been on the team. There's no way I'm letting him in." But he said that boy, he just kept sitting over there and he kept pleading, "Coach, you need to put me in this game." And that team, it just kept losing, and that coach must have had enough football. And he told him, "Why don't you come on and you go and get in there." And that boy got on that field, Brother Thomas. And it said that if there was ever a play that needed to be made, that boy was making it. If there was a tackle that needed to be done, he was hitting it, he was intercepting everything. Said even he intercepted the last play and ran it in for a touchdown and won that game for him. Said all the team come out and lifted him up, cheering for him, and carried him into the locker room. And no doubt they thought that was a great victory. And at the end of the day, that coach came walking out, and he said he seen that little boy, and he was sitting over on the side. And it said he was just sitting there crying, and he walked over to him and he said, "Son, what's wrong with you? You won us that game. Why aren't you out celebrating?" And he said, "Well, Coach," he said, "you know my dad, you know that he just passed away. And he came to every one of our games to cheer me on." And he said, "Yeah, I know." He said, "Well, Coach, the one thing you didn't know about my dad," he said, "he was blind." He said, "and he went to be with the Lord. And I knew this time, Coach, this was the first time my daddy was ever going to watch me play." He said, "and I wanted to show him how great I could be, because I knew where he was going. He was going to have eyes to watch me this time." I got news for you. This world, it's full of troubles and heartaches, brother, and it's full of wheelchairs and walkers. It's full of all these things that's worldly. But one day, after a while, Mama, I'm going to a place where I get to shed this natural body, and I get to go be with the Lord, where I know heartaches and troubles aren't going to follow me. Guess what? If you're here and you don't know the Lord, I'm praying that your eyes will be open this morning, and that you'll see that there is a better way, that the debt was already paid a long time ago, and you don't need to wait on the Lord, because He's sitting and He's waiting on you. You brothers, go ahead and sing. The Lord, you don't have to question. You don't have to question all these things. Guess what? I'll take someone any day who's wondering, saying, "Lord, I don't think I'm good enough." God, we're going to let you down. Well, guess what? You're getting in good shape. That the Lord can work. Take me someone who's worrying about pleasing the Lord, and that one's going to be okay this morning. Thank God this morning, Mama, that one day I opened up my eyes and I said, "Lord, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Lord, you show me and I'll go. You tell me what road and I'm going to follow, and you get yourself like that, and you'll be all right this morning." The church doors are open. The Lord opened them a long time ago, waiting on all of us to come in and accept Him this morning. I love each and every one of you, but there's one greater than me that loves you this morning, who gave the very best thing that He had waiting on you today.
It's still got love tonight. You talk of faith. When you're up on the mountain. Oh, but the talk comes sweet. When life says it's best, but it's down in the valley. Our trials and temptations. Sunday now, let's be too. That's when faith is really good to do. It's still not in the valley. When things go wrong, He'll make them right. And I got up the good time. It's still not in the valley. And I got up the day. It's still got Well, we've opened the doors and I believe done the best that we could today. And hope that maybe we would have said something that would touch your heart and make you consider the whole matter this morning. I do need to announce, I talked to Brother Teddy this morning, and the fellowship meeting is not going to be this evening. We're going to go ahead, it sounds like we're going to try to set up some kind of meeting with them and talk to them a little bit, and maybe get a little bit more established on which way we want to go. But I just wanted the church to know that we won't be having it this evening. Do we have any other announcements that need to be made, Brother Joe? We're thankful for everyone who came out our way this evening, or this morning. We're glad to see each and every one. We did make a move in second last night for these young boys. It was Elisha, Jonah, Josh, Levi, all these boys, all these young boys to we're gonna set up a date, let us know, I'll be modified.
That'll be good.
They'll be informed.
I'd like to thank the church for $264. We use that to pay all of our bills. There's nothing else for Brother Joe called this mission. It's all up to the Lord. That's gracious, man.
Oh, God of heaven. God, if it would be your will, come on after God. Lord, we want to thank you for another time, God, that you blessed us to your creation, God, to come out. Meet together, Lord, and worship you in spirit and in truth. God, we want to thank you, Heavenly Master, God, for what we've got to hear and feel today, Lord. God, don't let us take, Lord, what we've felt today, God, for granted, Lord. But God, let us treasure it up, Lord. Cherish it, Lord, and keep it near us, Lord. God, one more time, would you remember all the sick and afflicted, Lord? God, this choir, Lord, remember all the ones, God. Our Lord, that we don't even have on our list, Lord. God, but if it would be your will today, God, if there is one, Lord, that don't know you, God, would you keep knocking at the door, Lord? Let them understand, God, the time is swiftly running out, Lord. God, if it would be your will, Lord, dismiss us from this place, Lord, but not tonight. God, those doors are good, Lord. God, I hope to ask all this in a way that's been pleasing unto you, for your sake and ours today.